Welcome to this 116 unit hotel that we actually converted into apartments. I'm here with my team, Ron and Mark. This team and so many other people at J Lane has worked on this project, 116 units, about $7 million bucks.
Lenox Cove was an interesting project because this client originally reached out to us because they were about to buy this building. It's a 116 unit hotel. They're like, we want to convert this into an apartment. And I was like, awesome, we can do that. So we started construction after we got through permitting and everything. And
4 buildings total, redid a clubhouse, and then redid 3 individual buildings, all with units in it. That project started out small and then grew.
Everything was going really well. It was amazing. And the client got an offer for their property. They wound up selling it to Bridge Investment Group, which is a multi-billion-dollar national, apartment investor. We were like, okay, well, what's gonna happen to our contract? This kind of threw a wrench into the construction a little bit, and we're like, okay. But it actually worked out because, first of all, Bridge is an amazing group to work with, and they assumed our contract, as a part of the sale. So we're like, okay, thank God. So we still have our project here.
Lenox Cove was, that's a good dynamic to talk about. That was a very unique project with everything we had to work with because one of the big things was the change of use. It going from a hotel to apartment. A lot of things were just not known until we started doing the work. We found out that the place was wired so there was one main feed, one main breaker for 3 separate hotel rooms. Well, when you convert it to apartments, you have to have a main breaker for each room. It's a hurdle, right? There was a new dynamic that was uncovered.
With Lenox Cove, there ended up being some framing issues that were uncovered when we started putting the windows in.
On Lenox Cove, as we started doing more work there was some minor damage on the outside of the structure with stucco. Stucco literally started falling off the wall. So at this point now, we're doing much more repair. It was uncovering rotten wood. So now we went from minor stucco repair to large stucco repair to replacing structural elements on the wall. So we basically came up with a budget. We're gonna just take the worst areas and we're gonna just do as much work we have to, because it's not really just straightforward. It's not like you're painting a wall. There was structural details that we had to go to an architectural team to get us to approve to fix that structure, that wall. It's not a matter of just putting back the same parts and pieces because there's new codes that we're aware of, new compliance. The building was 40 years old or more. So now we have to bring everything up to code.
No project is the same. We can buy a property that looks just like Lenox Cove and have different problems, right? Or none of the existing problems. So no property is the same. You have to treat each one unique. And that's what we tell our clients. It's like, hey, we're gonna address your property and your issues. We're not gonna presume like the next. Lenox Cove needed people who knew how to value engineer. They needed someone who could assess a problem, be real with it, and then find the best value to fix it. We went back and forth with the city. We went back and forth with inspectors. Basically, we fought for our client. We fought for our product. That's the idea. When you hire a GC, you want to hire someone who can do that.
With Lenox Cove, there was so many unknowns that we worked through. We actually were able to overcome all those obstacles and still meet a certain budget with the client and give them a product that they're happy with. Actually, I think the biggest takeaway in the success for Lenox Cove with that client was all the communication, all the collaboration between our team and their team. Weekly meetings at some points to talk about these nitty-gritty details, these new nuances, dynamics that were uncovered to come up with a solution.
With Lenox Cove, we have our client, which is the owner of the property. Our client isn't necessarily gonna be living in the units, right? And so there's that element, especially when I was super on that project, where I was looking at each of the units going, hey, is this unit quality all by itself, right? Not just in the project, is the owner gonna sign off and say, yes, thanks, here's your money? Is this gonna be a great product, this specific unit? And then you go to the next one, is this unit gonna be great? And you had to kind of look at it that way. Is this hallway gonna be sufficient? Does it meet the standard that I want it to meet? Does it meet the standard of my client? And that's what we did at Lenox Cove. It's like, yeah, there's some other issues here. We can pass our building final and be fine and get people in here. But do you want these things adjusted and fixed? I think it's gonna give you a better product. Your tenants are gonna love the space more. Especially with Lenox Cove, I was thinking about that, not just to satisfy the client, but if I walked in those units 5 years from now, I'm like, yeah, this unit looks great. I wanted the tenants to like them as well.
We were able to completely transform all of these hotel units with a little kitchenette and renovate the bathrooms and put LVP down and adjust the HVAC and tweak the electrical and the plumbing and make sure all the hallways were good. And we completely put in all new stairs externally, painted the whole building. You know, there's a pool, there's a children's play area. We did so much transformation to this project. It took some time, but in the end, it was a statement piece for J Lane Construction. I'm extremely, extremely proud of what we did there for that client. There are apartments at great prices that people can go and rent. And I love to say that my team and I had a part in that. We had to overcome so many obstacles, not just obstacles, but big obstacles, you know? This was actually the type of project where I'm like, oh yeah, we can overcome obstacles, but like, we actually did it on this one on a massive scale. And we did it, and I'm extremely proud of the final result. There's a hype kind of built up, you know, in my YouTube channel. There's always people watching like my company like, whoa, this is a project that allowed us to really live up to the hype, you know? It's like, we really delivered for this client. We brought it into fruition, overcame the obstacles, and it was an amazing experience.